when things really changed is like when I started getting older, I eventually started partying more. I was drinking a lot. I was, engaging in different things like that weren't far from righteous. I don't know, we gonna have kids watching, so I ain't gonna say too much, but like the slope that I was on became slippery to a point where I couldn't even catch myself anymore. Like I was just falling. You know what I'm saying? I was just falling and falling. We were out on a Friday night. How ironic, right?
Oh yeah.
Knowing good and well.
Oh man.
And so got into an accident. The car flipped. I don't know if I got tossed out of the window or if the car let me out as it flipped. I don't know, but they found me like 30 feet away from where the car landed.
All right. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of How I Came Into the Truth. Today we got a special guest in the house, Sister Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for, sitting down with us and sharing your story. And what I like to do, first and foremost, I like to, take it all the way back to the very beginning. So originally, where are you from?
Originally from Atlanta, born and raised, right here in Riverdale, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Been here my whole life, up to about 5 years ago.
Okay. So how was it coming up in the 80s?
It was, it was straight. Like it was cool. Like grew up in the burbs for the most part, and burbs turn a little hood.
So now when you say burbs, you talking about suburbs, right?
Suburb, yeah.
Okay. I get it for those, but you mean suburbs, right?
Suburbs.
Okay.
And suburbs start to kind of, go downhill with the economy, and so the environment I was in, it wasn't like the most positive environment. But growing up for the most part, we were pretty involved in school. Had a good childhood growing up with both parents in the house. Our family, we always been close. So we have that family oriented, lifestyle. So yeah, that's how it was. It was a good life growing up though.
Now you say you come from a family of 4, right? We're 4 siblings.
Yep, I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, so it's 5 of y'all. Wow. Yep. Okay. So I came up in a family of 4, right?
Okay.
I do have a 5th one now. She's younger, but that was after my parents divorced later on after I was leaving the house, right?
Okay.
But coming up in a family like that, you say you were a good kid, so in that, like, were you like, because you got siblings, man.
Yeah. So like I said, we were close. We grew up close. We always, stuck together. I was a good kid. However, kids will be kids.
Right.
And like you said, growing up in a big family, we got into stuff. And I was the one on getting into most of the stuff. So,
really?
Yeah, I was.
So where did you fall in line as far as like the age group? Oldest, middle?
I'm the second. I have one older sister, then it's me, younger brother, younger sister, and then the baby boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like a lot of responsibility might have fell on you and your big sister?
A lot of the domestic stuff, such as cleaning, eventually when we learn how to cook,
That's my first, that's what it's called, okay.
That's what it is.
That's what I did to my daughter at a young age. I taught her domestic stuff.
Yeah.
Right, wow. Okay.
So my dad, he used to have us iron his clothes, washing clothes, washing dishes, things like that.
Right.
I was more of I was a little more active. Like my sister, older sister, she liked to be in the house. She picked up on like the more, I would say girly things like doing hair, makeup, and shopping. That was her kind of thing. Like, but for me, I wanted to be outside playing basketball, football, with all the folks in the neighborhood. Like, I'm the only girl out there, and my daddy's, you don't need to be out there with all them boys. I'm like, I'm just playing, having fun. So, yeah, it was because, like I said, I like to be out there and be in that environment. And growing up, kids get exposed to different things, and so that's why I said like the suburbs kind of turn a little rough,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And that's when I start kind of being on the badder side. But growing up, I was pretty good. I was always respectful. Academic wise, I was a straight A student.
Wow.
Took accelerated classes
Mhm.
and things like that. So yeah, I mean, me and my brother, the one that's right below me, we were the ones that were always getting in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess in a sense they would consider you probably the middle kids.
Yeah.
Cause the middle kids get that rep, like they just don't care about nothing. They wild, they carefree in a sense. That's what they say about middle kids.
See, I cover everything up with academics. So,
Wow.
since I
Really?
was a good kid in school, it was like, it wasn't overlooked, but it was like, okay, she good, she smart.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Like I can see if you was like wilding and school was terrible.
Right.
Then that's a cause for concern.
Exactly.
But you kind of got you got a good good balance. You teach some of these. I wish I would have known that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But how did you see? How do you look at like back doing? I guess when you guys were coming up, compared to Atlanta now, because before I came here, we heard like a whole lot of great stuff about Atlanta, and you actually have to be here to see it. But I still didn't get to experience like the 90s and you know what I'm saying, early 2000s. I got here in 05.
Okay.
But I really didn't get to see how like I see now, and I love being in the A.
Right.
But they we were like on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
You were actually in the A.
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Atlanta, it was an experience. Like, being able to go to events like the World Series, going to Braves games. I mean, different events they have surrounding. Well, we never celebrated.
Right.
Just to be clear, I did grow up in what we know as the truth, but we weren't like involved in like all the different holidays, things like that. But when they had events, our dad would take us out. Like, he made sure we got to experience different things. We got to have fun. We were, I guess, growing up, exposed to a lot of different things because of the way we were raised as well.
Right.
But like Atlanta, it was just, I don't know, it was lit. Like, the different phases that we went through, the trends, like the dressing wise, the music, the dances, like, I mean, it was a good upbringing in that era. And like I said, it started to get a little rough, like kind of what you see today.
Yeah.
But if you can just imagine, like, Atlanta being mostly suburb, and I'm talking about the outskirts, Riverdale, where I grew up.
Right.
Clayton County area, being mostly suburbs, and compared to what you see now.
Right.
So, it wasn't a lot of violence, a lot of crime and stuff like that until we hit that spot. So, I mean, even then, it wasn't like, oh, I need to get out of Atlanta, it's so terrible. You know what I'm saying? It was just, you kind of adjust to the environment and you go with the flow. But yeah, I love Atlanta. I love growing up here, and it's my city. Like, still got love for the city.
That's what's up. So when did you start seeing like the change in it? Because I noticed, like you said, kind of hard headed and stuff like that. Did that kind of influence that as you start getting older?
As I start getting older, so I would say 8th grade is when two prominent games start to form in the Clayton County area. And so that was like kind of the exposure to, different gang activity, smoking, like foul language, you know what I'm saying? Like things like that. Of course you hear it, growing up, but I mean, you in an environment at school where most of the kids are doing that, and
Right.
you know, they're affiliating themselves with this or that, and you know,
Mhm.
it's intriguing because you like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
it's something I seem like I want to be a part of. And in ninth grade, that's when really, because the way our school district was split, it was like, although I lived in Riverdale, I went to high school. I went to Mount Zion, which was about 15 miles.
Yes, south.
Right.
Yes,
Whereas Riverdale is like 6 miles away.
Yeah, you right here.
Right. But the way it was split, like literally this half of our neighborhood went to Riverdale, this half went to Mount Zion.
Are you serious?
Right. I am. So it was like a big melting pot. We go to school, picking up on all these different things, come back, and we all just, you know, mixing it all up. We getting influence from this or that, because we all still in the same neighborhood. We still doing the same things we did.
Right.
But now it's like, oh, I want to be a part of this, or you know, I'm gonna go over here and be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And it was like being bad was cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was more of a popularity thing. Like, I realized that being smart, you know, of course, that's good.
Yeah.
But being bad, like,
It just seemed better. It seemed better, right?
it just, yeah, it was cool.
Wow.
So I kind of, like, I wasn't terrible. You know what I'm saying? And of course, kids gonna be kids.
Right, absolutely.
It was different things that I would do that were worse than others. But overall, I was like, you know, kind of the one that would take a risk and say, oh, y'all scared to do this? Well, let me do it and see what happens, you know?
Right.
Or starting food fights in the cafeteria and stuff like that. Just,
you know, they say the one who seems like the most innocent ones are the ones that be the ones that you gotta watch out for.
I heard that.
Were you that? Were you that one?
I don't think I was that one.
I don't know. Probably in your parents' eyes, because in your parents' eyes, everybody's eyes, if you making straight A's, that's the innocent one right there. But you said it started changing. What, around the 8th grade? Did the grades start changing too?
So high school really, it depended on the area of study. So mathematics was not my favorite subject. I struggled in that throughout high school.
Right.
But my behavior didn't really affect my grades because I still, like, I did what I was supposed to do, and the things that I was doing, I was getting away with it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But everybody was like, you know, they knew who I was, they knew what I was about. You know what I'm saying? And like, people just, we was plugged in like that. Like, but I wasn't like the worst kid in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't out running the streets and doing all that. I was just a kid wanting to be a class clown for attention, or pull a prank for attention, or you know, I would do stuff that was against the rules.
Did you because when I came up, I guess in the South, you know, South for the most part, you kind of had neighborhoods and sides of town, like the east side and the west side, you know what I'm saying? You probably disagree. So it wasn't really no gang life. Now y'all coming up, y'all had, like you said, the gangs, two major gangs started. How was that, like, having to navigate through that?
Well,
or did they not know what they was doing themselves?
It was like out of nowhere. These two gangs just, you know what I'm saying? They formed up and they took over. Like, literally, you was either this or that. That's it. Period. And it was always beef between the two. And even, I mean, it was a lot of beef, it seemed like, in high school, just in general. Because playing rival teams, sports, like, it was always somebody wanted to fight. Like, but around that time, that's when the gang activity was, like, at its peak. And it was a lot of violence involved too, like gun violence too. So just being exposed to that, knowing what it is. We had the neighborhood things too, like it was smaller neighborhoods that clicked up, that tried to, you know, I mean, not tried, they did, but it was still these two big gangs.
Right.
And then it was like everybody else.
Oh wow.
And so that was mostly like the biggest part of high school was that. And it played a major role, you know what I'm saying, in I guess just, I don't know, influencing me in particular, because it's like I wanted to be a part, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it was just a group of people that's together, they fight,
like family,
they with
right?
it, like you know what I'm saying? It's
right.
like that's what's up.
Right.
And that's how a lot of people felt, because that was majority of our school.
That's how everything. Right.
So
right. So now you came up. I saw how you say you played the drums in the church, right?
Oh yeah.
So now playing the drums in the church, that's just regular church?
Oh. So we grew up in the Sabbath church.
Uh-huh. Now when you say Sabbath, are you talking, so you said the truth, right? Somewhat.
So what we refer to as the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was a little more primitive back then. And it's also ever evolving, you know. We all don't know it all. Right. But when we do find out something new, right.
Yeah, you learn, right.
And so that's kind of how it was. And so our church kind of dispersed, and my dad, he took over as the pastor of the church here in Atlanta. And so it was a smaller congregation. Right. But we were the musicians there. We were the choir, basically. Right. And so I shared responsibility of playing the drums along with my brother, the one that's right below me.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you this: how were you able to I guess fight against all the different things in the world? You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, somewhat being introduced. Yeah, I mean, not where we are today, because we know it's definitely evolved a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Right. But still, you still have both parents. You still have somewhat more knowledge than just your average Joe, right? How are you able to, like, I guess, be able to fight those temptations to want to jump outside of what we now know as the true word of God? Well,
so obviously, you know, a part of my upbringing and how I kind of veered off with going into all those different things, although I was in the church, you know, I knew that's what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to go to church. And, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, I wasn't as engaged as, you know, I should have been.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So it wasn't hard to fight those urges of the world, because the way we were brought up, our parents were strict. Like, I mean, we went to church almost every day at some point. Wow. And it's
sound like us.
Yeah,
I was just in false church though.
Okay.
Pentecostal.
Okay.
Going all the doggone time. At least you had the jump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but I wasn't there. You know.
Right.
So, and not saying that I still have, like, the seed was planted, because some of the things that I now that I come across or read or study, I do remember, like, I recall learning that as a child, and I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? That's good that I had that foundation, because a lot of the things that I probably would have struggled with, you know, I don't have to worry about those things, like dietary laws, you know what I mean? Like keeping the Sabbath, like we grew up doing that already, like, so, you know, but growing up, we wore dresses all the time. We went to church. We couldn't be involved in school activities because, you know, the holy days. Usually things were Friday nights. And we weren't allowed to go to different stuff because my parents were trying to prevent that negative influence. Now, of course, they can't do nothing while we at school, like, you know what I'm saying? So
Right,
that was
right,
my
right.
freedom. Like,
Right, okay.
soon as I hit that street,
Right. It was on the promise.
it's
Right,
over with. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
But I get back to the house, I hit that driveway, I'm back. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I'm
okay,
back.
wow.
You feel me?
Right.
So, like even the music we listened to, we couldn't listen to radio, we couldn't listen to rap. I mean, we didn't even have cable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we were sheltered.
Right.
And so when I went to college, it was like I'm free, like you
Oh,
know
wow.
what I'm saying?
Wow.
And by that time I had got exposed to drinking, which that started in high school. And so I'm in college, I'm gone, living on campus. So I'm out partying, I'm doing whatever, you know what I'm saying? I done got a car now, you know, I had a job, I'm making a little money. And this is the first time I feel, you know, liberated. So I stopped, of course I'm away at school, so there was no church.
Right.
And then when I came back, I was so caught up in what I wanted to do on Saturdays, I wasn't going to church. Because by now I got friends and everything going on Saturday. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Where did you go away to? As far as school?
I went to Gordon State College.
And where is that?
In Barnesville, Georgia.
So how far is that away?
It's like an hour. So it's past
Oh,
Griffin.
so you was gone.
Yeah.
It wasn't like no Clark, Atlanta.
Nah.
No more. What's the female college here? Is it Spelman?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you wasn't local. You was out of here.
I was out of here.
Oh, okay.
So the bulk of everything I was doing was down there, and we at some point stopped coming home on the weekends because we started finding stuff to do down there.
Right.
And so church was kind of obsolete. And then when I actually didn't finish college there, I came back, and by that time I was just like, I'm doing me.
So
like,
did you go back home?
I came back home, and I was like kind of living with some friends.
Okay.
And, you know
So
what
you
I'm
didn't go back to mom's house and dad's house?
No, yes and no, because there was turmoil there.
Okay.
So my senior year, my parents, they split. And after that, my mom, she kept the house. My dad, he went and got another house. But she was kind of reluctant to allow us to stay as adults.
Okay, I got
So
you.
yeah, it was one of those kind of situations where I had to start kind of figuring out what I'm gonna do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So obviously I had a good situation in college, messed that up, and then come home, I didn't mess it up, but you know, of course I'm an adult now, and adults, they expect the same type of respect they give.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And if I don't have that, then of course I'm not gonna be nowhere where, you know, it's gonna be turmoil. So I was in and out though, because I forgot to mention this, that growing up, I was kind of like, I was seen as the type of child, you know, like in my mom's eyes.
Oh,
so,
wow, okay.
I could do no wrong. And that's probably why I got away with a lot of the stuff I got away with.
Right, wow.
So, yeah, she allowed me to come back and forth a few times, but ultimately, I couldn't stay. And it was like, you know, what am I supposed to do as a young adult?
So I was like 20, 21, I'm assuming?
Yeah, probably around 19, 20.
Oh, man. Wow, so what about Dad?
So Dad was really kind of getting the situation together.
Okay.
During that time.
Okay.
And when he did, and ain't nothing negative, you know,
Right,
about my
absolutely.
dad.
Right.
He wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was the way the situation happened, which I'm not going to elaborate on it, but he basically, you know, allowed my mom to keep the house, and he went on and found something else.
Right.
But during that time, you know, he had to be in a temporary living situation.
Right.
So no, I couldn't, go with him.
So at this point, you're trying to figure it out, what to do And I just want you to know, I know that's not an easy situation because at 19, I had left and went to the military, and I got a call, and the call was from my father. Let me know that my foundation between mother and father is now over. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know it, and it just like kind of, it just tore me up, man.
Yeah.
So you coming back home, and it's like that, and then you got to figure out life, especially being 19, man. That's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a shock because it just came out the blue, and the
Right.
timing was terrible because it was a week before my high school graduation.
Right.
And it just, the way the situation went down, I still don't like it. But
Yeah.
you know, who am I?
Yeah.
And at some point in life, hopefully, we all would like some type of closure on the
Closure, yeah.
Situation.
Right.
But at the same time, we don't want to aggravate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
absolutely. It makes you stronger. It hurts. Because I guess as kids, you don't see that coming.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And just out of nowhere, you know. But at the end of the day, you got to keep living.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it takes some time. I ain't gonna lie, because the word is what kind of helped me get over it.
I'm still trying to find
Right.
that,
Right. Trying to find that
peace.
solace. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So you came back, and now you just like kind of, I guess, in limbo in a sense.
pretty much. I mean, I was working, so I had money. I was always like, I'm gonna get money. Like I've always been that way.
Right.
Even growing up, I would hustle. I would cut grass.
Mhm.
I would sell pictures. I would sell candy at school. Like I was gonna get me some money. You know what I'm saying?
ATL.
And so,
Wow.
I was working and I was staying with a friend, and we were best friends. Like it was a group of us, and we was all hanging all the time, and so it felt like it was cool. You know, everything was all right.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I wasn't stable. I didn't have a stable place to live, and I was just really out doing whatever, like living day by day. So, fast forward, like when things really changed, is like when I started getting older, I eventually started partying more. I was drinking a lot. I was, you know, engaging in different things like that weren't far from righteous.
Right.
I don't know, we gonna have kids watching, so I ain't gonna say too much, but like the slope that I was on became slippery to a point where I couldn't even catch myself anymore. Like I was just falling. You know what I'm saying? I was just falling and falling.
As you were falling, could you realize what was going on?
So at some point I did, and I ignored it.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like those things in life were still fun. You know what I'm saying? Like all the things I was doing were still fun to me. I enjoyed doing them.
Right.
And I didn't want to stop.
Right.
At this point, I was going back to church, and though I was there, you know, physically, I wasn't there mentally, but I was there because I knew I had to be there.
And so you mean a church as far as the truth is concerned?
Still, yeah.
Is that
It's in
right?
my dad's church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
Oh, okay.
they don't have the church anymore because of COVID and all of that
Yeah,
happened. But
Okay.
yeah, up until what I would say 2009, 2020, yeah. Even during COVID, maybe 6 or 7 months after COVID, we were still going to that church.
Right. So that's amazing, man. Because you know, some people wouldn't even think to revert back to the light in the darkness like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even though you say you weren't there, but you still knew like the Lord didn't completely like turn the light off. He still left an entrance for you You know what I'm saying? And that's amazing.
I mean, it took a lot of whoopings.
Right.
I'm talking about beatings.
Right.
It took a lot.
Right.
And even some things that I went through that I knew I should have said, okay, this is the point where I need to stop. And I still did.
Right.
So it was a lot of my own doings that put me where I am starting back when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? Like doing things I knew I shouldn't have no business doing, running with people I know I had no business running with. And that one thing led to another, to another. So, I mean, I do praise the Most High that He allowed me to come out of all of that, because He could have took my life.
Yeah.
And almost did. I mean, even the day after graduation, I went out with my sister, my cousins. They was all up here for my graduation, and I was drinking at the club that night. Obviously, I'm only 17 because my birthday wasn't until the summer, but I graduated in May.
Okay.
And so I'm out drinking, you know what I'm saying? And the next morning, we driving home, my sister fell asleep at the wheel, and we ran off the road, and we got stopped by a tree. But if that tree wouldn't have stopped us, we would have been gone, because the rest of that was nothing but it was a cliff. We off 285.
Yeah.
So after that happened, they put a guardrail right there in that spot. I'm like, why wasn't one there already? That's besides the point. But yeah, I mean, that was the first warning, because I'm fresh out of high school. My life just started, and I got kind of banged up, but it wasn't like life threatening. The injuries weren't. But again, I should have stopped then. I didn't. I've been in several different situations that were life threatening, and still didn't stop. And the worst one was another car accident. Me and my sister again, because my sister and I, we rollies, like at my age, you see her, you see me. And we was like, I mean, during this time, the after hours was popular. So you leave one club, you go to the next.
That's what we heard about. Coming from other states, that's what we heard about.
Yep. And you ain't going home till the sun come up.
Right.
And so that's how it was. Our weekends were like that. During the week, we still partying. I'm getting up, going to work. Can't wait to get off, because I need to go do this, do that. And so we were out on a Friday night. How ironic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Knowing good and well.
Oh, man.
And so got into an accident. The car flipped. I don't know if I got tossed out of the window or if the car let me out as it flipped. I don't know, but they found me like 30 feet away from where the car landed, and I was in ICU for 5 days. So when people see me, that's where the scars come from. And
that's where mine come from. Same thing.
Yeah. I wouldn't wear my seatbelt. So make sure I always wear my seatbelt now. I don't care if I'm going a mile away. And anybody listening, wear your seatbelt.
Right.
But so I got out of that accident, and I was messed up. Like I couldn't walk, couldn't talk. It was real bad. And that's when I should have stopped. That's when I should have stopped living the lifestyle I was living. Stopped going out, clubbing, stopped drinking, smoking, all of that. And I still did.
Even after that?
Even after that. I stopped for a little while.
Right.
But I was right back at it. And obviously the people that I was around had a lot to do with it too. Because, you know, you in an environment that you know you comfortable with.
Right.
You go just really got fall back into the same thing because that's what you used to.
Right, that's right.
And I'm speaking for myself. I ain't gonna speak for nobody.
But that's mainly what most people do.
Right.
If you put me back in the same environment, you know, once I heal up, when the dust settles, Hey man, let me get that drink again. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So that's how it was. And that wasn't the last time that the Most High said, okay, you know, I'm going to try this again with you. I'm going to try to humble you again, try to sit you down again. And that was the time. Now, it was another situation that I got into some trouble. And I was just like, okay, this might be the end of the road for me. Because I done tiptoed, you know, enough.
Right.
And I done been getting away, getting a slap on the wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was facing probably some jail time.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have mean me losing everything I had.
Right.
My house, I had a house in College Park that I had bought just what?
At a young age.
Yeah. And nice car, good job, you know what I'm saying? And that would have like really been detrimental to everything that I had going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, I fought it, you know what I'm saying, to my best ability. And when I got just the bare minimum,
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, let me get up out of here. Time for me to go. I need to go somewhere else because I need to change,
Right.
and I'm not gonna be able to do it here.
Right. Wow.
And that's when I moved to Dallas.
Oh, okay. And you got pulled yourself up out of there.
Yeah.
Wow. So how has it been like ever since then, since you got up out of it?
So that wasn't the end.
Mm-hmm. So you went to Dallas and did kind of like still had a little bit in you?
Yeah, it's not funny. I'm not laughing. I'm not taking this lightly at all.
Right. No, I understand.
But so I was good for a while. You know what I'm saying? I was doing good, and then slowly, like you said, the dust settled.
Yeah.
I realized all that situation back there. Okay, it's good. I start going back doing the same stuff now in a different city though.
Right.
I didn't have the same crowd, but I was getting a new crowd.
right.
So that didn't last long at all though,
Mm-hmm.
because the trouble that I was in, it didn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of resurfaced.
Oh wow.
And it was like, okay, this is for real this time. Like, I might really be done this time for real.
Wow.
And that was the turning point when I realized, like, no, you ain't got no more chances. And I could see that. I knew that. Like, I could discern that.
Right.
And I was like, okay, let me get on the straight and narrow, like for real. And I was convicted too, because at this time I had joined the church. I was involved, and I was being a hypocrite because I was, you know, observing the truth and attending a convocation, and on one hand, but still defiling the Sabbath on the other end.
Right.
Like, that conviction got to me. It wasn't enough for me to say, okay, let me change though.
Right.
And when that situation happened, it was everything that built up. It was like all the signals, you know, what it was just telling me, like, it's about that time.
Right.
So I got myself together, and a few months after that, I got baptized.
Oh wow.
And
Praise the Lord.
yeah,
Okay.
ever since then, I ain't perfect.
Well, none of us are.
I know.
You working.
I'm working. And sometimes I be feeling like, you know, certain things, I should be past that point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But since then, that's when I really been in the truth. Like, for real.
Right.
I ain't listening to no other Sunday preachers, because I would go to my friends' churches too. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, I'm in church.
Right. But you knew better.
You know,
You knew
that's
better.
what I'm saying.
Right.
I don't do that no more. I don't defile the Sabbath.
Right.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying, doing nothing that goes against what we believe.
Right.
So, despite my faults, you know, here and there. But other than that, I'm walking on the straight and narrow.
Right.
at this point since then.
Right now, not to get too personal, because I know women don't like to tell us, but are you between 19 and 26? You don't gotta say what age, but you between 19 and 26? I'm asking for a reason.
No.
Between 25 and 30?
No.
Older than that? Between 30 and 35?
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I ask, you don't even know. But the reason I ask because because a lot of times, young people, it's like they gotta hit their head a few times.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the Lord didn't really He had mercy with you, but it's almost like based on you kind of knowing that the Lord expected you to live a certain way. I can say, I guess as a man on the outside looking in, it's like, well, you're not 19, 20, man, you young, you make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? By the time you hit 30, you should be calming down, right? But throughout that 19 to 30 phase and the different things that you went through, you know what I'm saying, the average person, it's almost like, hey man, you're gonna hit your head. Because I was hitting my head like crazy. Oh my God. A whole lot. From 19 to 30, I was catching it, you know what I'm saying? And just doing all type of stuff. And the light came on at 30, but I ain't had a word. And it's like for younger people out there that see this video, that deal with the truth, like the Lord, He ain't letting you get off that easy.
No.
Like this is my first time ever hearing, like first off, I don't think I ever interviewed anybody that grew up in the truth. But at the same time, it just kind of reminded me of different things in the Bible of how like the Lord, how some young people think they just get away. Like you said, at 17, the Lord was like on you like that. Like, nah, right. you can't be like, well, I ain't old enough, I don't know. Man, the Lord, it's like He hold you responsible.
You can't get away. When the Most High got a calling on you, you can't get away from it. Like, right. No matter what. And I'm actually kind of going through that now where I ain't trying to get away. But it was a situation where I felt like, okay, this is what I wanted to do. The Most High was telling me to do this. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. And again, you know what I'm saying? Wow. All right. All right. Now, I ain't gonna let it get to that point no more. Like, right. When I feel it the first time, that's it for me.
Yeah, that's good. Right. I mean, he chastises those he loves.
Exactly.
So if He stopped chastising you, right. That's a problem.
Exactly.
It's like, all right, okay, Lord, you don't care no more. Yep. You know what I'm saying? But the simple fact that He stayed on you, He loved you. Like you said, you can't escape that call.
Can't.
But you said something earlier that I want to just kind of ask. Coming up in the Word, right? Going to high school and all that type of stuff, and dealing with the dietary law, keeping the Sabbath and stuff like that. How were you able to deal with that, like with your peers and stuff? Like, I mean, were you open about it, or were they respected, or did they, like, how is that? Because being the only one, that wasn't kind of tough during that time?
It was. I mean, well, I ain't gonna say it was tough, but obviously, like I said, we wore dresses all the time, so that's what I was always known for. Like, everybody knew we wore dresses. And like going to not being able to go to different events because of the Sabbath, like people didn't understand that. You know what I'm saying? They like, oh, you need to come, it's gonna be fun, like everybody gonna be there. I can't go, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you would get one or two people that would like try to downplay it or joke about it, but for the most part, because people knew me, and you know what I'm saying, I was popular, like I said, right. People ain't really mess with me like that, like, right. But they still know to this day, they like, I remember you used to be wearing skirts and you couldn't do this and you couldn't do that, and yeah, that's like kind of what we was known for as a family, you know what I'm saying? Wow. So it was in that aspect, I guess it set us apart. No pun intended.
Wow. Right.
But yeah.
So you was able to handle that, because for some, like just imagine people nowadays, and I guess nowadays it may be a good comparison, but not really, because it's starting to spread. But probably 10 years ago, somebody going to school And the majority of everybody else is like celebrating holidays, you know what I'm saying, eating unclean and all that type of stuff. It's just the pressure. But 5 of y'all, you know, that I think that might have made it a whole lot easier as well. And having mom and dad in the house.
Yeah, because I mean, we was like, we was just used to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't nothing to us. But again, like people that were new that never encountered it, they would be like, "Oh, what's that?" But they had to respect it. Even kids in the neighborhood wanted us to come out to play. They knew we couldn't come out. You know, Friday night, Saturday, they knew it's over with. If we tell them it was a new moon, we can't do nothing. Okay, they already know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because we kept the new moon too.
Right. That's how we kind of observe. Like we just do the fast.
Okay.
On the new moon.
Yeah, we kept it like a holy day almost.
Right. Okay.
So
okay.
we would go to church, same thing. The only difference was we was permitted to go to work on the new moon.
Right.
And you know, like now it's so many debate around the new moon, which I don't know how we were doing it back then, if that was the right way or how they observing it now, but you know,
you do
that's
the best
just,
you can. Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, anytime we say to our friends, "Oh, we got a holy day," they know what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. How was that coming up during that time? Because you know that wasn't too popular. So how your father found out about it? Like did he grow up in it, or did he come from up north?
No. So
where it was prevalent at?
No, it was a church down here. Actually, the founder of the church came from up north. I can't remember the name of the city, but I believe it was in Illinois somewhere. But they met. My parents met them, the preacher of this church, and introduced it to them. And I was about 2 years old at this time.
Was it Ben Ami? Not Ben Ami, right? Not the ones that went over to Israel, right?
No.
Okay.
So the church itself was called the House of God, House of Prayer for All Nations.
Okay.
So they had several churches throughout the U.S. The main one was in Illinois, like I said, but I can't remember the name of the city.
Right. Okay.
But they still have like congregations that are further south now. But no congregations here in Atlanta. Like I said, my dad's church was like the last one.
Okay.
And that shut down. And so they introduced them to it, and from there they start observing it. So we pretty much grew up in it.
Right.
My sister was 3, I was 2, and my cousins, like my aunts, they were all in it too. Like, so we was a big family in the church.
Wow.
And my mom has 6 or 7 sisters that were all in it. Their kids. And it was us.
Well, hold on. So your mom and dad, did they meet in the church?
No, they were already married.
So she got her family in it?
Yep.
Goodness gracious, boy. You know, that's hard nowadays, man.
So she had my mom's side, her sisters were in it, but my dad, none of his family has ever came.
Okay.
I'm working on that now.
Right. So everybody's still here though, right? Everybody's still alive, doing well and stuff?
Yeah, everybody,
That's good.
immediate, you know, that we grew up with in the church.
Siblings, mother, father, everybody still. That's good, man. Praise God for that. Weather the storm, right?
Yeah.
Weather the storm.
Still weathering it.
Right. It's all good though. It's all good. So you really didn't. You kind of. I mean, from a baby, you knew about it, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So never intentionally ate pork or bottom feeders.
Wow.
I mean, growing up, like I said, we couldn't really listen to a lot of music until that changed when I started, going off and doing my thing. I started listening to rap and stuff like that. But other than that, like, a lot of the stuff that used to happen, football games, basketball games, pep rallies, whatever.
Right.
We just really wasn't that involved in the extracurricular activities at school. So, I mean, a lot of our life was growing up in the church. My mom was a gospel artist, so we sang background for her, my sisters and I. I would play drums for her occasionally, but my brother was her drummer. Right. And so we went to a lot of different churches to sing, and like we were exposed to a lot of, different, I'm not gonna say teachings because we weren't there for that, but just different churches and the way they operate.
Right.
And I mean, our life was really surrounded around church.
Right.
So
Right. Well, since you came into the word, like since you made me born into the word, that eliminates about 2 of my questions, right? So what I like to do is, which I was gonna get to anyway. I was just gonna ask you at the end because it's obvious. People know Sister Shalom. You feel what I'm saying? But based on the music background, you know what I'm saying, what influenced you to get off into rap?
So actually, my sister and I, we rapped in high school. And so this was around that era with the
Crime Bob.
Yep. And rap was popular back then. So we had a couple songs. I can't remember how many we had, but we actually went and recorded. And obviously, I'm pretty sure that came from us seeing our mom, because she has a full album out.
Okay.
She's a gospel artist. And so we used to go to the studio with her, and it was intriguing to see that. And my sister, my cousin, and me, we had a rap group at church, which is actually, that's where it started.
Wow.
And we would rap, we played instruments. Like I said, our whole family was like the bulk of the church, and we were mostly the musicians. And so that's where it started. And then as we grew older, my sister and I started our rap group. And then I stopped for a long time. Like, I wasn't doing music, I wasn't interested in music, because I was living that lifestyle.
Right.
And so I would write a rap here and there. And then in like 2016 or 17, I wrote this worldly rap. And it went off. Like,
oh wow.
I was like, dang, you snapped.
Right, wow.
But I still ain't do nothing with music. But from time to time, if something pop up, I just write it down. And so, coming into the truth in 2018, joining the choir, and that was my ministry.
Right, okay.
And then pandemic happened. I wasn't able to minister through music no more. So I was feeling like I wasn't doing nothing. I was like, no, what am I gonna do? Because I can't stop spreading the word of God. You know what I'm saying? And so I started like writing and preparing myself to make music. And it just turns out like rapping came a lot easier. Like, it's not like it's easier than singing, but I feel like I'm more passionate about rapping than I'm with singing. Because when you rapping, you can really say everything you want to say. I mean, you can say that in a song, but it's like,
you get more in.
Yeah.
There's more you can get inside that song.
And the rap is just, it just be the energy, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know, a lot of people be wanting me to make more songs that I'm singing on. And I just be like,
Right. I mean, it's a phase. Like right now, it may be, and that's why it's good to be so talented, because right now it can be the rapping, and then change up, like for example, like I told you how I came up with the Bone Thugs, the 666 Mafia. Now then when I came to the A, I really got on the Gucci, the T.I. and all that. So I can, the Trick Daddy back in the day when I was in Florida. So all the different styles you can move into those. So now I'm kind of moving it more into like back into the harmony style, you know what I'm saying? And then like also moving into like the Mr. Fix It, the little sitcom we doing now, the interviews and stuff like that. But for me, it's all entertainment. But it's phases for us. You feel what I'm saying? So like yourself, it's rapping now, and then as you start moving, then you may start throwing more singing in there. But you have the talent where you can make those choices though.
Right.
Do you think that that's almost like an outlet as well?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
It, especially recently, it has become one. At first, I was kind of just writing. It was like more of creative, like when I'm in that space and the Lord put something on my mind, it's like, then I just begin to elaborate on it. So a lot of my songs really more so testimony You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like, I guess, yeah, putting it out there, putting it on pen and paper, or you know, letting somebody hear it. I guess that's just really me getting it off my heart, so to
Right.
speak.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it is definitely an outlet. In a lot of my recent stuff, I've been more kind of using it as an outlet to just let it out. Like,
Right. I think I kind of peeped that when on the video you just dropped.
oh yeah,
I kind of saw it was more like kind of like a swagged out version. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it seemed more. I guess it felt like an outlet.
that's exactly what that was.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
so I think that's the only time I've been in that space, and that's why I said recently. So Endure was kind of like that, but I had already really written Endure before I started going through the things I was going through. But when I to revisit it, and like when I write a song, that ain't it.
Right,
I'm gonna go back. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
So by the time I went to revisit it, some things were more applicable. So, you know, I went in, made the updates.
So it made that delivery more potent.
Now with this was the outlet, period, from beginning to end. Like, it usually takes me, it can take me anywhere from a day to a month.
Right.
I ain't gonna say a year, but it might.
I would sit it down.
It might.
Come back to it, sit it down.
Right.
I don't freestyle good.
No,
I write good,
not at all.
but I don't freestyle good. Yeah.
And see, this was kind of a freestyle too, because I wrote it, I found a beat, and it wasn't even done. And when I heard that beat and I started saying the words, I was like, yeah, this is it.
Right.
And even when I went to record it, it was like I was having to put in parts that might not have fit, that wasn't there, or you know what I'm saying. When I walked out, it was a full song.
Right.
But when I went in, it was really only supposed to be a freestyle.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So, yeah, it was like, it was just flowing so to the point, because that was everything that I was feeling that was just cut and dry. It was a real, like, I don't want nobody to be confused about that. Like, this song is applicable to me now. I'm not talking about back then.
Well, that's great music, though. It'll like stand the test of time.
I mean, I wasn't going to even put it out, but I let my daddy hear it, and he was like, I like this.
Oh, wow.
And that's all he had to say.
Wow. Serious. Oh, that's amazing.
It was pretty much me telling people, like, you know, y'all been seeing me whole time. I've been at church. I've been performing, ministering.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I ain't been living according to the word. And so I got to the point where I was tired of living hypocritical.
Right.
And I wanted people to know, you know, like, this wasn't like I wasn't being truthful about who, and I'm not saying that I wasn't, but of course, if you portraying one thing on one hand but doing something else, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You basically, you being fake.
Yeah. God can see it. Yeah.
Right.
He know,
if nobody else.
Right. Nobody else sees it. He sees it. So yeah.
But it's, for me, being a minister, you know what I'm saying? That ain't right. Like, that ain't what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And we talked about conviction earlier. Like, you know, conviction don't really happen like until you're convicted. You're not convicted. Like, you don't care. You know what I'm
keep on
saying?
going. Yeah, exactly.
But when that conviction hit, you know what I'm saying, you gotta act on it. Either you go do what's right, or you not.
Ignore it.
And so, yeah, I was real convicted about that, and it still don't sit right with me. And I really wanted, you know, to let people know, like, I was gonna fall back on music because of that. Because, you know, how dare I, you know, stand in front of people and minister the word of God, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not living according to the word.
Right.
And so that's where that came from.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. But you know, the way God think, Yeah, he'd be like, get your personal stuff out of the way and you better do the job. You know what I'm saying? Like remember he was talking about, you know, do as the Pharisees say and not as they do. You know, and it's like, you ain't gonna sit them down? Nah, what they saying is right. You know what I'm saying? Just don't follow them. You know what I'm saying? What you saying is right. But she got to get her stuff together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But get on out there. You know, and everybody ain't got that gift, man. You know, like, you know, it's just like through it. At some point, you got to come to that place of conviction and say, okay, well, enough is enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And don't ever let it interfere with you spreading the gospel. That's what I have to learn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for example, you know, just imagine if he would have looked at David and been like, yeah, man, you ain't good enough to be in that Bible. You don't drop the ball, man. I'm gonna go, but he still got David in there. Like, David is all through Psalms, you feel what I'm saying? And other places, and gonna get up and be over Israel. Even though he dropped the ball. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like almost in a sense where, you know, the Lord can understand what you're going through, and since I understand, I'm gonna beat your behind. And you ain't finna get off the job. Like, you ain't finna just, it's easy to be like, Lord, I'm messing up, I'm gonna go sit down. Well, what about the dude with the talents? You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, you know, well, you know, I know you're an austere man. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go and put this, I'm gonna bear this, and when you get back, I got it. Or you say, you know what, I've been messing up, man, but I gotta keep going, man. I gotta keep going. And eventually what's gonna happen is, as you keep going, something got to break. Either you're gonna keep on going and keep on pushing to serve God, and eventually it's gonna change you, or you're gonna keep being disrespectful.
Right.
And he's gonna kill you.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? But it just sounds like, or listening to you now, it's starting to change you to say enough is enough.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's easy to give up though. It's easy for us to quit.
I wouldn't go give up. You know
I mean,
what I'm saying?
it's easy to say, you know, I'll
Let's
just
go.
hold off.
Because I set an example for people. You know what
do.
I'm saying?
You
Like,
do.
people look up to me, and that's
You're right.
it's like I realized that, but I didn't take it that serious, like as serious as it is, because even kids, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to realize, like, the platform that I'm on, like, everybody's always gonna be watching me,
Right.
no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment I do something that's out the way, of course I'm gonna face backlash, criticism, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I want to be able to set the right example, and I want to be there mentally as well to do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? So sometimes you gotta really just take a step back, get yourself together. You know?
Well, I mean, that sounds good, but you're talking to somebody who can't take a step back, because, like I'm saying that, and that's a great way to look at it. It is. But you're talking to somebody who can't take a step back. Like, for example, the drinking problem that I had. You know, one night we leaving Brother Anthony's wife's birthday party, 50th birthday party, right? We leaving downtown Atlanta. I drank too much. At this point, me and my wife were disagreeing on the way home. She wanted to drive, I told her no. You know what I'm saying? Riding down the highway, coming off on Union City exit, hit the gas, and I told her I killed both of us. You feel what I'm saying? I'm hitting the gas real fast, but guess what? I still got to get up and preach in front of everybody. I can't say, you know what, this, you know, I got to chill, man. You know what, Lord, just let me get back to this. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I said? Now my wife see this. And I said, I woke up the next morning, I said, that's enough, man. I'm done. I ain't doing this no more. I said, it's either gonna kill me, this is gonna mess around and kill me, literally. Not just literally, but it's gonna end up putting me in a lake of fire. And I made that decision. But I realized, but I can't jeopardize what you told me to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I had different instances where I got into it with different folks that was coming at me. We had a change in command in the church. Different issues I was dealing with certain people. I told the Lord, I say, Lord, you know what? I'll go ahead and step back if I hurt one of these dudes. Man, the Lord hit me in my back where I couldn't walk. And he told me, don't you ever compromise what I tell you to do. You got a problem with them, you deal with that problem, but don't you ever put what I told you to do on the line ever again. And from that point, I just said, all right, I just got to fix it. And that's why I said, not saying what you're saying, that's how we think. But that's a, you know, when you're dealing with the ministry, it's like the Lord, like, hey man, fix that and hurry up and fix it. Hurry up and fix it. And it's almost like you caught between a rock and a hard place. He put something.
I am though.
Huh?
I know I am.
Right.
And see this is what I was saying, was that when you can't get away from it. And that video, you know, I dropped that last week. That's where I was at, that headspace. This week for me has been so stressful because I got so many people telling me how much of a positive impact this song has been for them. And like, people literally just like the song, like,
Right.
and I've been getting a lot of encouragement. Don't stop, keep going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And now I'm like, okay, because it still bothers me about what I thought I wanted. And clearly, it's becoming quite clear that I have to minister the word of God, like point blank period. Like, I can't get out of it. I'm not like I'm trying. Like I said, I was just gonna take a hiatus.
Right.
It was gonna be brief.
Right, I got you.
But,
like a break in between albums. Or
but-
drop the album first and then chill.
Well, it was gonna be the hiatus, then the album. So I was gonna be laying low while I'm working. I was still gonna be working. You feel me?
I got you.
I just wasn't gonna be on the scene.
On the scene, yeah, I got you. I
But
can understand that.
I mean, that is pretty much eradicated at this point,
Right.
because it's too much of a demand for my testimony.
Absolutely.
And people need it. People need to hear it. They need to see me, even though I'm going through this. Like, I'm not finna hide. I'm not finna be ashamed of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't the worst thing I've ever been through. And of course, people go through stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's an opportunity for me to make it right, and that's what I'm doing. So
yeah, that's what's up.
yeah.
Yeah, just shake it off, man. Shake it off. And then eventually they look back and say, okay, hey man, because every day's a battle, man. Every day's a battle. Every day you get up, you have to renew this mind all the time. You're killing off that man every day, man. And sometimes that man, he kind of be, you know, taking the lead. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta
A lot of times.
you gotta die daily. You feel what I'm
For
saying?
real,
Like that's
yeah.
what Paul said. He said, I die daily. So just knowing that, you know, that's the encouragement to just keep on going, man. Whatever it is. But you know, it's funny you say that, because there's a lot of people that are new coming into the word. What type of advice do you have for those that are new in the word, that's kind of caught between like family, especially around this time of year? Traditions getting ready to come, and it's, you know, sometimes people can feel like they're on the island by themselves. So what kind of words of, you know, guidance could you give to those people?
So one of my biggest struggles is I kind of tend to veer off from the church. But the church is the strongest foundation that you can have for that, what am I trying to say? You need, like, it's a community, you know? It takes a community.
Right.
You need those people. You need the brothers. You need the sisters. You need the fellowship.
Right.
You need their knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you need the word.
Right.
Obviously.
Yes.
God first. The word, that's gonna build a relationship and a bond, you know, between you and the Lord. Build that understanding. But you need those people around you, because that's who gonna hold you up.
Right.
You know, we're supposed to bear the burdens of the weak.
Yeah.
You going through something, go to the church. They got you. They
That's
gonna
right.
be there.
That's right.
If you need some help with some understanding, because of course in the truth it's a lot of different understandings. It's better to come to that foundation to get it, versus to go out,
Right.
you know, and asking this person or that person that might not be under the doctrine that's, I would say, there's two main doctrines I feel in the truth are pretty parallel, which, can I say ILG and ICLJ?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, you know, if you start going out to different people that believe different doctrines or different high days or whatever the case is,
Right.
you go start to get caught up in a lot of different things that are not necessary for you to really get that foundation of the truth.
That's right, right.
So,
Of course you can say it.
well, you know.
Boy is a father. Boy, like you say, man, like Paul say, many instructed, but ain't too many fathers, man. And boy has birthed a lot of us, you know, like Paul was saying, a lot of us come from that. So absolutely. Man.
Okay, I just want to.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, man.
But I'm pretty sure a lot of people know that these two are pretty much parallel. You know what I'm saying? In teaching and understanding.
Right.
So, yeah, I would say you need to be as consistent in the church as you possibly can be. Consistent in the word.
Right.
Praying, definitely pray for understanding, because if they knew in the truth coming from the outside, it's gonna be a lot of things that they're gonna have questions about.
I'm getting thrown off.
It's a lot. So I would say just, you know, have somebody that you know you can call them when you need them.
Right.
Make sure it's somebody that's really grounded in the word, and stick with that teaching. Don't go off into no other teaching.
Right.
Ain't no need to look anywhere else, because everything you need is right here. It is.
Well, with so many different religions floating around, what impact do you think a better understanding of the Bible would have on people around the world?
I think that it would put a lot of things into perspective for people, as far as what they believe they know, because the concept of, you know, getting into heaven based off of grace, and, you know, because you love God, that you are you've accepted Christ, that means that you are saved.
Right.
That's it's a misconception. Right. And I think people would live their life a lot differently if they understood and feared the Lord.
Right.
Of course, there would be a lot more peace. Are you saying like everybody?
No, just no. You answered it.
Okay, because I know it ain't gonna be total peace. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's
but that's key, because like that's how it's gonna be when the Lord get back. It's gonna be one.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a lot of peace.
So yeah, I mean, it would help a lot more, you know, with getting to that point, because I think that we could live, you know, a better life up until the
Lord return, right? Right.
And because at that point, you know, it's gonna be over with.
Yeah,
like,
right.
If people understood how much time they have to do what they needed to do, then they would start doing it and not, you know, procrastinating with life and just getting by. Because I mean, that's pretty much what people do for the most part.
Getting by, yeah.
They love the Lord. They go to church. You know, the Lord wake them up. They favorite.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Over and over again, tradition, yeah.
And they good.
Right.
But what about the Lord's expectations, though? Those aren't being fulfilled in your everyday because of what you believe and not what you have access to knowledge and understanding of it, but you know.
I know one thing, I'm taking that right there as a class title. I know that, Lord's expectations. Wow.
That's all good.
Yeah, that's hard there. Okay. Wow. Well, it's been a great interview, man. I really enjoyed this interview. So I don't know if you got to the end of the video that you did see, but I always we have this question at the end. We call it the hot seat question.
Okay.
And you've been in the Word, so this should be easy for you.
Okay.
Right? What's your favorite book in the Bible? That is.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say.
Inside the Bible, and your favorite scripture, and tell us why.
Favorite book.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to say, ooh, man, that's hard though.
Yeah, everybody get caught up on that one.
Tough.
I ain't never been interviewed, so I can't. I ain't been in their shoes.
For simplicity,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Psalms.
Okay.
And that's because growing up, we was like always writing songs from Psalms. Like,
oh wow.
literally the whole chapter. You know, you might come across one that got 3 or 6
Right,
chapters.
yes.
I mean, verses.
Right.
We wrote a whole song on that one chapter. You know what I'm saying? Really.
You say a song?
A song.
Y'all wrote a song? That was it?
Mhm.
Wow. Coming up?
Coming up. So, and it's a lot of wisdom in there too. You
Very
know what
much.
I'm saying?
Yeah, very much.
My favorite scripture,
Mm-hmm.
James 3:18, and the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
Oh wow.
And that's my favorite scripture because, you know, peace and righteousness they correlate together.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
And so you can't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
And my name, obviously, Shalom.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I aspire to be peace, like have peace amongst all people, anybody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because peace correlates to righteousness.
Right.
And if
sure does. Yeah.
if I ain't got peace, I ain't
Let's start a
righteous.
peacemaker. They're gonna inherit the earth. Yeah.
You feel?
Wow.
So yeah, that's my favorite scripture.
Okay. Well, that was the last question, but what I want to do is, you're up and coming artist in the truth, right? Touching a lot of lives, and a lot of people, know about Sister Shalom. So I would like for you to give us your handle, your Twitter page, YouTube page, Facebook, where everybody can follow you, possibly see some of your work, get some purchase your music. You have an opportunity, so speaking that camera, let us know.
Absolutely. So I'm Sister Shalom on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I don't really use TikTok, but I'm still on there. YouTube, you can find my music on any digital platform. And if you just having any trouble finding me, you can literally just Google me. You'll see my website, all of my social media accounts, all of my music. But my website is sistershalom.co, just co, not .com, sistershalom.co. So my music is there. I have merch there. You'll find all of my upcoming work on my website, and yeah, you'll be able to anticipate what's next.
Okay. Well, once again, I had to take that down. But thank you very much. I really appreciate you for coming through.
Me.
You're welcome. And I know you be moving about a lot, but I ain't want to pass this opportunity up, man. And, just realize that what you're doing is not in vain. One of the reasons I do the music, do the different things, the interviews, the different shows that we have and all that, is for the next generation, trying to create our own ecosystem. So if we don't make it to the Lord come back, when we resting and sleeping until the Lord get here, the stuff that you do will live on. So just make sure you understand that, because we have to leave our footprint for this next generation so they can keep spreading it out. All right. So thank you once again for coming through, sis. And I appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am.